name is Lange. I'm the game designer of The Godfather, Corleone's Empire, the next big box board game epic by Coolman Yernat. So Godfather is one of my favorite movies of all time. I watched it for the first time right at my last year of high school, I remember, and I was too young to enjoy how awesome the movie was. I was just like, whoa, this is cool and violent. And every couple of years I'd watch it again, and a new layer of it would open up. I loved the themes, I loved how iconic it was, I loved the subtle cultural hints that we would get out of it, the art direction. It's such a big part of how I relate to movies now. It's one of the standards I use to relate to everything else. And my hope is that by creating this big box epic game, that this will introduce this world to people who are just lightly into games with the same type of transition. Like people who used to play lighter games, they'll come into this game and go like, oh, I love all this oil painting. I love the feel, I love the theme, the milieu. So it'll kind of bridge them from lighter games into this, the world of big box games, and hopefully the art and the presentation, the gameplay will give them a similar experience. So gameplay-wise, I was actually very heavily influenced by Euro games, European resource management games, because when I was thinking about The Godfather, it was clear to me that players would not be playing the role of Don Corleone himself, they'd be playing the other families. And when I think about what it is to be a Don of a family, you are playing this big economic game. That's what running your business is. You are using people, you are using resources, both people and financial, from all over the place to build this awesome business engine with a little violence on the side. One of the biggest influences on this game was the fact that it was a standalone game and not designed to be the beginning of a line, which is like a lot of games that I work on. Those games are epic and they're sprawling, and one of the cool things about those, I get to design a bunch of hooks for expansions into that core game. With The Godfather, I was restricted and said, like, whatever goes in this box, that's it. That's all we're going to see, and we don't know if they're going to be expansions. So that made me think a lot more like a movie. Like, I wanted to make sure this game has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and I'm responsible for everything that comes in that box, no excuses. And I thought that was really cool. So the way this game plays is that there are 4 acts, which is very much how I think of the movie. I actually think of the movie as a play, which is normally 2 acts, part 1, part 2. And so I divided the 4 main events of the movie, which has Don Corleone's little miniature going down through that track. I wanted the players to feel like, even though they were not playing out Don Corleone's life himself, they were a part of the movie, they were participating. During each act, even though the players are playing this strategy game that's focused on their own family, Don Corleone's life in the first movie is going through each stage, and every time he comes to a new chapter in the movie, a new part of the game is unlocked for players, which represents what that part of the movie would be for them. I want players to feel like somewhere in between the audience and the participants, which is basically what games are at the baseline.